every right to come in and prune it back, whether you like it or not. Hopefully neighbors will talk to each other. I know people that have lived in homes for years that don't even know their next door neighbor's name. But, you know, if you plant a big tree, it encroaches on your neighbor's yard, you come home one day and find that it's all been sheared off, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. So, keep in mind very much the maximum size of the trees. Need something a little smaller? Don't plant a live oak. Plant a Monterey oak. It's not going to grow to nearly the size that a live oak is. Don't have room for that? They're wonderful small trees. Texas redbud is a gorgeous small tree. In some cases, a crepe myrtle may be a good small tree. Carolina buckthorn, pretty small tree. Mountain laurels, of course, I think of them more as a shrub. But on your design, you're not putting any names on these things. You're simply putting large tree, X size, whatever else. So begin by drawing the trees into your landscape. And if you're starting with small trees, as most of us do, realize in your planning that over time, your shade is very much going to change. And if you plant a plant that needs full sun in that area because it is very sunny right now, just be prepared that 10 or 15 years from now, you're going to have to change it. Now again, that's not one big deal. You can rip out 10 plants and put 10 new ones in for $200 or $300, and you know, after 4 or 5 or 10 years, that's really not a bad investment. But if you take care of things, if you plant things properly, treat them organically, you will truly be amazed at how quickly they will grow. If you walk right over here and look at those cypress trees out there that are, what, 50 feet tall now or so, the biggest one has a trunk like this. That tree we planted 19 years ago from a little tree that was this tall and had a trunk like this. Even slow-growing trees turn into very large trees in a relatively short period of time. So keep in mind how they're going to grow. And if you want to have a dense woodland yard, that's fine. Plant those trees in there, plant them pretty close together. But understand that 15 years from now, you're going to be very limited as far as your palette of what you can put underneath them because, you know, not going to be that much that will tolerate that much shade. So the trees go onto your plan first. Then you start thinking about what you want to do as far as size of plants that go into these wonderful beds that you've created. You've got some of these beds designated for perennials, maybe some, thank you for coming, some for annuals, whatever else. You go in and draw in little representative dots for where you want to put things. Again, try to avoid straight lines, but do make a note on your plan of where the windows are, where the doors are, where the access for the water heater is, whatever else. And be sure that you've made good notes about how large a plant you'll be able to put in that spot. I don't know how many people, you know, plant things that look real pretty in the nursery right there in front of the dining room window. And it's like getting a Great Dane puppy because you think it's a cute little dog. A few years down the road, he's not going to be a cute little dog. It's going to be a cute big dog. And a lot of these things, again, no one should be a slave to the landscape. My personal thought is with your landscape, you probably ought to prune it once a year, fertilize it 2 or 3 times a year, water it in between times, and beyond that, you shouldn't have to do anything if you don't want to. But you put the wrong plants in there, and they're going to become a maintenance nightmare. Yes, ma'am. How do you get rid of big plants you don't want and stumps and things like that? If you have a bunch of big plants that you don't want, you need to get rid of, probably good to call a professional tree company that has what they call a stump grinder. This is a machine that you set down on top of the stump and it literally chews it up 8 or 10 inches down into the ground, and the process kills it completely. That doesn't mean that there's a huge hole right on top of it, but it's the best way to get rid of a stump and be sure that it's not likely to sprout back. If you have a little more time, you cut them down and then you take your drill and you drill a bunch of holes down into the stump, fill it with potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter, also known as stump remover. Potassium nitrate reacts with the cellulose fiber in the wood, forms something we call nitrocellulose in a very highly refined form. That's what they put in shotgun shells for gunpowder in effect. But in the less refined form, what it's going to do is turn that wood to a spongy, slightly flammable material. Back after a couple months if it's soft wood, after 6 months if it's hard wood, put a couple of trinkets on top of it, light it, it burns all the way down to the ground, and it's gone. But it is a good question. Yeah, big things you get. In general, stump grinder is going to be the way to go. Yes, ma'am.
If you use a stump grinder, then you need to
stump grinder, do you need all the chips and everything? Yes. Get rid of them? No. They're great mulch. But you don't want undeep material in the ground. It's going to rob, a lot of the nutrients from the plants, fertilizer that you put on. I would definitely take out of the hole. But put them in a plastic bag or trash can or something else. Save the ridiculousness of the society that we're in. Sorry, but I should print up sometime. But all these people that rake up the, send them off, rake up the stuff off, and then they go out and buy mulch to put on their yard. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Those grindings and things are as good a mulch as you can buy, especially if you want some compost. Getting rid of overgrown shrubs of reasonable size. Everybody know what a grubbing hoe is? Too many people don't know what a grubbing hoe is. 10 seconds. You don't have one of these things, you really should. It's not a pickaxe. A pickaxe has a point here and a slightly broader thing here. This, I don't know whether this gets more use than a shovel or not, but this is one of the single most important things that you will have working in a landscape. If you're trying to get rid of overgrown boxwood or whatever else, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, you can use that edge to cut roots. You can use this to cut smaller roots. If you ever do, you go along and you just cut, about below ground level, and it's dead. You break the landscape. This is the most important around that can use this effectively, whether they need more exercise. You ever have this kind of work to do? I know growing up in my grandfather's flower shop, I thought my uncle was very, very wise. He knew the football coach at the local high school, and this, I'll have to admit, was a few years ago when people still didn't mind working. And when we needed somebody to do some, really laborious stuff beyond what I could do at my early age, he called the football coach. The football coach knew which kids needed, which kids he wanted to stay in shape. And we got some excellent laboring types. Now you have to be very specific about what you wanted cut out or chopped out or anything else. But don't worry about immigration laws these days. Hire the neighborhood high school kid that likes to work, and again, that coach is a lot of times the guy who knows which kids will work and probably need the money. Grubbing hoe. That's the answer to overgrown boxwood. It's the answer to bamboo coming in from the neighbors and other places. Yes, ma'am. What's the best way to remove large areas of grass? No, in general it's not, because vinegar and orange oil will take several applications. But St. Augustine grass has no underground runners. This is what I use to get rid of St. Augustine grass. If it's a big area, I'll do 3 or 4 feet a day and then come back the next day, come back the next day. By the end of a week, it's amazing how much better shape you're in and how much grass is gone. On the other hand, Bermuda grass, you will never dig it out. You will never poison it out. If you want to get rid of grass, the best thing to do, and this is the best time of year, is to do what we call solarizing it. Steam it to death. And I'm serious. What you do now, as dry as it is right now, it is important that you get out and moisten the soil. But if we've got an area, let's say half the size of this seminar area, and we want to get rid of the grass there, first thing I'm going to do is go out and give it a good watering, just like how we're really trying to make it grow. Then I'm going to get a piece of plastic that I can cover this area with, and it doesn't really matter whether it's black or clear. But I'm going to put the plastic over the area, I'm going to weight down the sides of it so that it can't blow away, and I'm going to wait about 4 to 6 weeks. The sun will totally, it's going to, what your car feels like if you left it on a sunny parking lot and you get into it. Well, imagine if all your upholstery in that, and you left it in a sunny parking lot. It'd kill you to get into it. That steam would just do you in. That steam is going to totally do in the Bermuda or Zoysia or Johnson grass or anything else that's underneath there. Again, it's called solarizing, and it is by far the best way I know of to get rid of expanses of grass that you want to kill out. Yeah, after you get rid of the grass, you can loosen it up. Now, granted, you have killed the earthworms. They've all gone elsewhere. They've gone out to the edge. You've killed a lot of the life that's in the soil.